Hello, everyone, and welcome to my diversity workshop. Today, we're going to take a deeper look at a systemic issue that often gets overlooked, but it has a major influence on businesses and future leadership, which is hiring formerly incarcerated individuals. Now, why does this matter? America has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Every year, more than 600,000 people are released from prisons and jails, and over 4.5 million are serving community supervision sentences like probation or parole. When they return to society, they face enormous barriers to employment. Here's the reality: the unemployment rate for formerly incarcerated individuals is about 30% immediately after release, and nearly 60% remain unemployed 1 year later. Yet 93% of these individuals are actively seeking work, higher than the general population. As future leaders, you will encounter this issue in hiring, in team building, and in community partnerships. If leaders ignore it, stigma continues, recidivism rises, and organizations miss out on a motivated and loyal workforce. This isn't just a social issue, it's a leadership opportunity that combines moral imperative with business advantage. So, what exactly is the challenge? Formerly incarcerated individuals face stigma, bias, and systemic barriers that make reintegration difficult. Let's define a few key terms. Incarceration means confinement in prison or jail. Parole is conditional release under supervision. Probation is a court imposed alternative to incarceration. Reintegration is the process of helping individuals transition back into society with access to jobs, housing, and support. And recidivism is the tendency to reoffend and return to prison. The statistics are crucial for your understanding. Without employment, recidivism rates are about 52% within 3 years. But for those who maintain stable employment for 1 year, that rate drops to just 16%, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And according to the U.S. Department of Labor, employment is one of the strongest predictors of successful reintegration. Research shows that employment focused reentry programs significantly reduce recidivism. There are also misconceptions we need to challenge. One common myth is that formerly incarcerated people are unreliable or unsafe employees. In reality, studies show that they can be just as reliable and often more loyal than other employees when given fair opportunities. Across industries, patterns emerge. Licensing restrictions, background checks, and inconsistent state laws create barriers. But organizations that embrace inclusive hiring see stronger retention, diversity, and innovation. For example, Michigan has 3 different policies affecting this issue. Ban the Box prohibits employers from asking about a job applicant's criminal history on the initial application. The Clean Slate Act, a 2020 law that makes it easier for individuals to have past, nonviolent convictions cleared from their public criminal records. And the Elliott-Larsen Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination in areas like employment, housing, and public accommodations based on certain protected characteristics.
There's a box on certain job applications that might not seem like much, but for millions of Americans, that box can mean the difference between getting a job interview or not. And that's because 1 in 3 American adults have a criminal record, and they may have to disclose that fact if they want a shot at a job.
So, looking at that video, we understand that Ban the Box and other policies greatly impact hiring previously incarcerated individuals. However, there are many other problems that take place. Number one is employer bias and stigma. Many employers fear reputational risk or assume people with records are unreliable or unsafe, despite evidence showing they often perform as well or better than peers. And even when individuals demonstrate strong work ethic, disclosure of parole or past convictions can lead to sudden termination, as in cases documented by the Vera Institute of Justice. Number two, there are legal and regulatory barriers. Certain industries, like healthcare, finance, childcare, transportation, etc., legally restrict hiring individuals with specific convictions. Federal and state laws around background checks can discourage employers even when the conviction is unrelated to the job. And number three, there are structural inequities. Looking at unemployment rates, roughly 60% of formerly incarcerated people are jobless, far higher than the general population. There's housing instability. Without stable housing, maintaining employment becomes difficult, and even applying for employment. And there are education gaps. Many leave prison without access to updated training or certifications, limiting career pathways. These are all systemic issues that need to be addressed in proactive ways. This is a leadership challenge that requires nuance, empathy, and strategic thinking. As leaders, you must navigate multiple competing concerns while maintaining fairness and building inclusive cultures. There are multiple business cases and ethical cases that one may make for this issue, and let's look at why that matters from these two perspectives. So, looking at the business case, hiring from this group of people may dramatically increase economic production through the increased number of workers, especially since we know the amount of individuals that get released each year. Focused hiring will strengthen corporate policies and community reputation. This lessens the turnover rate with boosted loyalty and builds sustainability for the company. Additionally, the growing importance of corporate social responsibility has pushed for more involvement through companies and their responsibility with their employees. Now let's look at the ethical case. Providing second chances aligns with values of fairness, equity, and social responsibility. It acknowledges systemic inequities and gives people the opportunity to rebuild their lives. So, what can leaders actually do? Here are 5 practical strategies that you can take in your own office. 1. Create clear, reintegration focused policies in the workplace. Develop guidelines that ensure expectations are communicated from the top down and ensure they are followed consistently rather than left to an individual discretion. Some concerns and pushback you might receive is that this policy may lead to special treatment or favoritism. We advise that you respond with a clear expectations of what your policies entail, which is fairness and consistency in the hiring process. 2. Provide soft skills training, allowing these individuals to learn more about your company and its expectations, while providing them with the opportunity to grow and demonstrate their own learning capabilities. Now, some concerns and pushbacks you may receive is that soft skills should be developed outside of company time, which detracts from the company's efficiency. However, you can respond saying that many individuals haven't had the chance to refine these skills, and providing training benefits everyone and strengthens overall team performance. For step 3, we advise that you provide bias training for managers and employees of your company. Educate your workers on your expectations and then implement these nuances and ideals within your company. Some concerns and pushback may be from people that feel defensive about learning these things and may push back against their own internal beliefs. However, we advise you to respond that this is about informing employees about systemic issues and challenges instead of changing a person's belief. For number 4, we suggest providing career roadmaps that implement tangible plans within your company, allowing for career development that relies solely on growth in job performance and tangible factors of employment. Some concerns and pushback may be that roadmaps are constraining, and concern that favoritism or positive outcomes may be selected based on external factors. However, we advise you to respond that roadmaps are a guide to help visualize longevity, not a one-to-one ratio, keeping employees in a box. Our fifth strategy involves hosting community service events as a company to promote your community through service projects, engaging your employees with their peers, and boosting morale both within the community and among your employees. Some concerns and pushback may be if they aren't getting paid to do this, then what is the point? As employees value their time above all else. However, we advise you to respond with this approach helping boost employee morale, fostering teamwork in new settings, and enhancing the company's reputation in the community. So, how do we put this into practice? Let's look at organizations doing it well.
Stronger communities and strengthens the economy for everyone. In 2019 alone, JPMorgan Chase hired 3,000 people with a criminal background. We are investing in community organizations across the country, connecting people with arrest or conviction histories to opportunities for jobs, education, training, or starting a small business, and we are not stopping there. As the nation works to recover from COVID-19, JPMorgan Chase wants to make sure people who have long faced barriers to opportunity also benefit from the recovery. The JPMorgan Chase Policy Center will keep working to make progress, pushing policy that matters.
First, we're going to look at JP Morgan Chase, who launched a second chance agenda in 2019. Looking at their recent reports, 10% of its new hires in the past 3 years have been individuals with criminal records. Additionally, looking at prison fellowship and Celebrate Recovery, they provide mentorship, life skills, and family support programs to help men reenter society. And last but not least, let's look at Greystone Bakery, affiliated with Ben& and Jerry's, who use an open hiring policy. They don't require resumes, background checks, or interviews. Looking more closely at this company, they are doing well, and they are planning to create 40,000 more jobs through partnerships in the future. Something you can learn from all these companies is that policy isn't enough. It's the leadership that sets the tone. From the top down, the attitudes displayed affect the work environment. Of course, there are obstacles stigma, inconsistent laws, and lack of training. But with clear policies, education, and structured support, these challenges can be overcome. As future leaders, you have the power to dismantle stigma and create fair opportunities. Hiring formerly incarcerated individuals is a moral imperative and a business opportunity that reduces recidivism, expands the workforce, and models equity in action.